What's up, guys? Dylon here. And today we're going to talk about losing weight, getting in shape, what it takes, and the number one thing you can do if you want to accomplish that. So, like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into this video. So, I'm here shirtless today because I was on the river about to go mountain biking, and it's warm out. It's nice, and it's summer. And why not be shirtless in the summer? And that's a good question. If you want to be confident and comfortable with your body, right? It's a mindset thing. That's first off and foremost. Like, you don't have to look a certain way. None of that matters. It's all in your mind. But there's the other component that really locks that in and anchors that in is the work component, and doing the work and cultivating the extra mindset of building that body that you want to have in a healthy, productive way. There are definitely unhealthy ways out there and non-productive ways and toxic ways to do that, and toxic mindsets where you're comfortable with your body, but you've been destroying it. And I don't necessarily recommend any of those routes in general. I recommend people focus on what are the positive, productive, healthy ways that they can get the body that they want. And so this means doing the right things, eating healthy, working out, exercising, the simple, basic things to get that body so that you're cool going shirtless. You're happy to go have a beach day. You're happy to be outside and go on a run without a shirt on. And it wasn't long ago for me where I was less confident and less excited about taking my shirt off. I shared on my Instagram a before and after of my 75 hard challenge, which I did over the past year. So all of the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023, from August until August of this year, I did the 75 hard challenge. So I did the live hard. So I did the 75 hard and then the phases and all that. And I had quite the transformation. Now, at the time when I did that, I was probably about 210 or so. It, and I was bloated one day when I took my before picture. That's not something to always keep in mind. It's always good if you want to see a real transformation. Take your before picture on a day that you've just like you're really bloated. You don't look your best, and just save that for your memory. Because the reason why I recommend that, if you want to get that transformation, or you want to look back on that, is because that on that day when you're looking your worst, if you continue those habits, if you continue those behaviors, that'll be how you look normally. So just keep that in mind, and that will show you that you're going in the wrong direction if it's the other direction that you want to go to be healthy, to be fit. So I took that. I was probably about 215 in that photo, and I wasn't like overweight. I'm 6 foot tall. I'm a muscular guy, and I like to lift, like squats, deadlifts, that kind of stuff. And I could move a lot of weight. Right, I'm deadlifting over 500 pounds, squatting like 500 pounds, bench press almost 300 pounds. I focus more on legs, but I can move a lot of weight. I was strong. I was athletic. I was biking. I was running. I'm in the mountains. I could hike. I snowboard. I ski. So I do all these activities, and I'm pretty fit. But I just realized that that's extra weight on my body, and it was excess fat on my body that I don't really want or need. That is taking away from somewhat in my present, but it's also going to be taking away in the future if that stuff stays around and if I let it stay around. And I didn't want that because I grew up and I've always been a fit person because I've been an athlete my whole life. So I've always been working out and active, which has been really beneficial to building a foundation that I have that allows me to be in the shape that I want, that allows me to have a six pack, that allows me to look fit and strong, is because I've been doing the work my whole life to do that. And this is a lifelong journey too. That's something to keep in mind. But at that point in time, and I was 30, I was 31, and it's just I wasn't happy with what like my look, my appearance. I wasn't necessarily like excited to take my shirt off. I didn't look bad or anything like that. Right? It's just I didn't look like I wanted to, and I didn't look like I looked in the past. And that can happen with time, with age. I knew the reason why that was the case was because I had let myself go, or at least I had let standards that I had held fall away, be less of a priority. And there's times in your life that's all right. But just know if you experience a physical transformation one way or another, you have to ask yourself the hard questions. Did I get here because I was doing all the right things and they weren't working? Or did I get here because I was doing more of the wrong things than the right things? And for me, I was doing more of the wrong things. For example, I wasn't like tracking my calories. Even though I was working out 3, 4 times a week or so, lifting heavy, I wasn't really tracking my calories. I was probably drinking too much. That became more of a consistent thing multiple times a week. Just not just like a drink when I got home from work or whatnot. Stuff like that. Or I'd go to bed, have a few drinks, watch a movie with the girlfriend before going to bed or whatnot. So, things like that. And those little things started adding up. And I would eat desserts and all this kind of stuff. And over time, even with my active lifestyle, the pounds added up, right? The excess fat, the excess weight started adding up to where eventually I could see it. And eventually I was like, man, like, even though I'm trying, or I thought I was trying to lose the weight, to get in better shape, to cultivate a healthier body, I wasn't really seeing the results. And what I recognized is that I needed to be more extreme with some of the things that I did to get the results that I wanted. Okay. And by more extreme, I needed to cut out the things in my life that I knew were holding me back from getting the results that I had elevated in priority in my life. So, losing the fat, getting the six pack, being fit, all that kind of stuff, being healthy. I knew that I needed to eliminate the things, and the things that I cued in on eliminating, like the number one thing, right? The easiest, the simplest, the best thing that you can do. I'll give you thing one and thing two, but the best thing you can do is cut alcohol from your life if you're trying to go on this transformational fitness journey, health and fitness journey, and even life and business and trying to accomplish things. If you cut out alcohol from your life, it will save you so much time. It'll save you so much calories. When you actually look into how many calories are in the alcoholic drinks that you have, whether it be beer, wine, shots, cocktails, there's a lot of calories in those. If you're having multiple of those a night, let's just say for a cocktail, you could have 200 plus calories in a cocktail. And you could have 3-4 cocktails in a night. And while that might not seem like a lot in terms of alcohol, or if you're a seasoned drinker, calorie wise, you're now looking at 600 to 800 plus extra calories in a day. And when you think about how many calories you need to consume, the average person, as a 6 foot tall guy who weighs about 200 pounds, roughly, I need to consume like 2,000 calories, a little bit more than 2,000 calories a day just to be break even. And so if I was drinking and just had 3-4 drinks in a night, there goes almost half my calories. Okay, so that means I have to offset that somewhere. It's really hard to offset that many calories. And what they say is true. Abs are made in the kitchen. But you will start to lose fat and weight when you balance out your calories. That's the thing too, is track your calories. But thing one, the simple thing is if you cross alcohol off your list, and this was one of the most beneficial things with the 75 hard, is you're not consuming those extra calories. You're also not consuming a thing that is known to create inflammation in your body. It's also a thing that is known to disrupt your sleep. And if your sleep is disrupted, you're not going to recover. You're not going to heal as fast. You're going to be groggy. You're not going to have energy to do the workouts and to do the activities that you need to do to burn those calories. Okay. And on top of this, it takes your time. When you go out and drink, you're constantly adding stuff to your week of centered around drinking. Okay. And generally, when you center activities around drinking, they're not as active. They can be sometimes. Okay, but they're generally not as active. You're sitting down at a bar, maybe you have a burger, maybe you have some fries with your beers. You're 1,200, 1,500 plus 2,000 calories in, and you've just been sitting there. And then the next day, you're not feeling good because you're a little hungover, so you decide not to work out. And so what happens is all these activities start to compound. Okay, the nights out drinking, the lack of sleep, the hangovers next day to where you're not doing workouts. And what I noticed in me, and what you may notice in you, is you spend less time doing your workouts, right? You spend less time doing the healthy things, and the scales shift to where you're doing more of the things that are leading you away from your goals than you are doing the things that lead you to your goals. So even when you do the things that lead you towards your goals, for a run, lifting, playing a sport, whatnot, eating healthy, it's not enough to outweigh the negative things. And so you got to shift those scales back. And that's what I did. And that's what 75 hard did for me, is it kickstarted that. It shifted the scales back in the other direction. So I was almost forced to do more of the things that were good for me, that were positive for me, that were pulling me in the direction or pushing me in the direction that I wanted to go. Because by cutting out alcohol, that's a whole set of things that I knew wasn't going to help me get in the best shape of my life. Okay. It just wasn't. So by cutting that out, I didn't have to worry about that. Okay. I didn't have to worry about any of the other things that came along with that. I could sleep better. I didn't have to like binge eat a hamburger at night because I didn't want my stomach to be upset because I drank too much. I didn't have to worry about even buying alcohol. I could focus on buying nicer quality meats or nicer quality food because any money spent on alcohol was not being spent on alcohol anymore. I didn't have to worry about Going out to a bar, I'd be like, I want to go to the gym or I want to get an extra ski day. I wasn't hungover. So instead of waking up on Saturday morning after a Friday night out drinking and be like, I don't want to get on the hill, I can wake up early on a Saturday morning, go skiing, still get work done, and still have half the day left and feel good and energetic. And so that was very transformational for me. And I'll throw back in that second thing. The second thing is obviously track your calories. That's going to be very critical for you to track your calories and see how many calories are going in, what kind of calories are these, what quality calories are these, and how many calories are going out. And that's going to be very critical to make sure that more days you're in that caloric deficit. More days you're eating the high quality foods. You're getting the macronutrients you need. And when you do this over time, this stuff adds up and you will see the results. But you have to tip the scales in your favor. You have to be doing 80 to 90+% of the time the things that will lead you towards your goal, whatever your specific goal is. You have to be doing those things 80 to 90% of the time. And if you're like just starting out, it might even require a short period of 100% of time, just because the scales might have been so weighted the other direction. In order to get any more momentum, you have to dramatically shift them. And again, I'm not saying do any unhealthy things or toxic things or detrimental things. I'm saying you need to identify the things that you're doing in your life that are causing you to be pulled away, right? Or are keeping you from what you want, where you want to be. And you need to eliminate as many of those as possible, okay? You can write them down on a list. This is a good exercise. Pull out a piece of paper. And I think, right, just write down things that I'm doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that are keeping me from my goals. Just make a list, have fun. And I know it might be hard to do these things, but make a list and then really look at that list and be like, do I need to do these things? Do I need to, and you can categorize this in like your relationship. You can do it for like your business. You can do it for your friends. You can do it but you can do it for your fitness. We're talking about fitness today because I'm shirtless. So you can do it for that. And when you do those things, when you create this list, you will see the things. And when you're honest with yourself, and most of those things on that list, you can cut out. Do you really need the ice cream? I love ice cream, but if I want to lose some weight, if I want to have ripped abs, right? Do I need to eat the ice cream? No, you don't need to eat the ice cream, okay? And if you feel compelled to eat the ice cream, that's probably even more reason that you should give up the ice cream. Just for that reason alone, that your body, your mind thinks that your life would be so much worse if you didn't have ice cream. Trust me, it won't be. I love ice cream, but it won't be so much worse. You'll be out on a hike one day and you'll be feeling amazing. You're like, man, I'm glad I gave up ice cream because I never would have gotten here if I didn't. I'm glad I gave up. And so that's the way I want you to think about it. And that's what I did to facilitate my transformation over the past year. And the final thing before I end this is it's an ongoing journey. It's an ongoing process. This is a lifetime pursuit. And there are peaks and there are valleys. There are ups, there are downs. Sometimes you take 2 steps forward and sometimes you take a step back. Sometimes you take 1 step forward, sometimes you take 2 steps back. The key is that you keep going and you realign when necessary and you reevaluate and you adjust and you pivot, right? As your life dictates. And you just keep your mind and your eyes on what you want. And even if you lose sight of it sometimes, you can always go back to it and get back to it. No matter where you're at, you can make that happen. And I think this is an extremely important thing. And so for me, this past year, the big challenge was a 75 hard, right? This next year, I don't quite know what the challenge is going to be, but I'm going to create one. And I'm thinking it's going to be a lot more along the lines of endurance, fitness. I've been seeing these Instagram stuff for hybrid athlete competitions. So I think I'd really like to do some of that. And I think for me, as a former sprinter, I'm strong, fast, but for a lot of these sports and competitions in life that happen outside of the track, they require more of that long-term endurance, that cardiovascular health and that fitness. I just recently read David Goggins' book and his second book. A lot of the challenges are endurance-based, not necessarily just strength-based. And I focused a lot on strength-based things in the past. And so perhaps in the future, perhaps this next year, I will do a lot more of the endurance-based stuff and see what type of doors and opportunities and experiences that will unlock for me, because that's been something that I've avoided just because I like running fast over short distances. I don't like running slow over long distances. That's why I like mountain biking and stuff like that. But perhaps I can mountain bike even longer, have even more fun, go uphill faster, go down more downhills, snowboard more days, ski more days, if I focus on that endurance and unlock new experiences that way. So that's been something I'm going to focus on going forward. But just to conclude, the two things that you can do to get in better shape, to get in the shape that you want in a healthy, productive way is one, cut out alcohol, two, track your calories. And the third thing is just make a list of all the things that you know you're doing in that are holding you back from being in the best shape of your life. Just cross those off, right? Just say, I'm not going to do these anymore. Say, I'm not the person that does this. I made a decision. You could even say, instead of, just set rules for yourself so that you have things to follow. And when you do that over time, those little things will add up and you will get big results. But it takes time. And it's a lifelong process. But by doing this, you're building the discipline, you're building the problem solving skills, you're building the mental and physical fortitude to accomplish this. And in a year's time, you could be in a completely different place. You could have created completely different opportunities for yourself by just listening to this video and taking action on things today. So anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. And of course, if you need help or anything like that, I have some resources in the description below as well. So you can click on some of those links for more resources. And that's it for now. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.